Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Angeles Forest. Beautiful day for a drive here, and boy, am I chillin' in the all-new 2017 Lincoln Continental all-wheel drive Ecoboost Reserve trim. So the Continental is all new. It's really Lincoln's kind of Hail Mary. It's the only vehicle they make that isn't a platform or badge really engineered from something else. That's not to say they don't redo their interiors, and which they do, but this is its own thing. It's a full-size sedan. It's really the size of like an S-Class. It's a beast. And so this one, as tested, $71,000, and that's with the 3.0 EcoBoost engine, the all-wheel drive system, and many options, including I'm looking from the sheet here, I apologize. This has the $5,000 luxury package, which comes with 30-way adjustable power seats. In fact, you can adjust the left and right thigh bolstering separately from the rest of the seat, which and from each other, which is crazy. Also, massage seats, which I will turn on right now. It's also got the $3,000 technology package, which comes with the Revel stereo. Might be Revel and not Revel, but either way, it sounds beautiful, and these metal speaker grills look like they are exactly the same ones that I got recently in a Mercedes. So let's go for a drive and talk about what the Continental is like. First off, points against. Well, it's a full-size sedan that is really a flagship car for Lincoln, and yet it has a transverse V6 with a front-wheel drive based platform running a haldex-style all-wheel drive system. That is not how most luxury cars work. Most luxury cars are a longitudinal configuration with rear drive based architectures, and that's more of a high-end luxury feel. Ford has gone this way with it, not unlike the Cadillac XTS. And but I will say this, you don't notice. I mean, it's the kind of thing where if it's going to bug you mentally forever, okay, I understand that. But from behind the wheel, in 90% of your driving situations, does that matter? And the answer, I think, is no. I only start to notice when I really start to push hard through these corners, and I can feel the haldex getting a little bit like, oh, what are you doing? I don't compute this type of driving. What is unique about the Continental is, for the first time in a long time, Nürburgring lap times and sporting pretension has not led the way in terms of the chassis and the suspension. This is a full-size sedan that is primarily meant for city and highway use, and it rides as such. It is big and floaty. It's what you imagine a classic American sedan to ride like. However, classic American sedans, with their floatiness, came with a level of imprecision. The steering was sloppy. The pedals felt like you were pressing mush. All of the inputs were terrible. With the Continental, you get that cushy, floaty, cloudy ride quality, but then you have a really quick steering rack, almost like the CTSV's quick steering rack. And then you've got your modern pedals, which are sharp and direct. And I step on the gas, I have good. I step on the brake, I have good feel. I have confidence. It's soft and floaty, but also with confidence when you throw it into a corner. 255 tires all around. These are the 20s, and they're Michelin Primacy tires, so they're sort of like an eco-minded tire. But having said that, for a big, heavy sedan, it does hustle through these corners quite a bit. I'm actually kind of impressed with it once it gets up here. The steering is tight and linear, and it's direct on center. The gearbox falls behind. It's the 6-speed automatic, which it works fine as an auto for just everydaying, cruising around. Up here, when I'm using sport mode and the manual paddles, it's definitely behind its competition. But you know, the 70 grand you spent on this car went to places besides a sporty, responsive gearbox. As an automatic, it's a fine automatic. There's nothing wrong with it. I will say, though, that the paddle shifters here are really cheap feeling plastic, and I think that's out of place in a $71,000 car. I would hope that at least one of these trims comes with better paddles, but I don't know. A lot of the other stuff, though, the switch gear, the window switches, the seat adjusters, the climate control, and radio buttons, they all feel nice and upscale. I remember a few months back, I recently reviewed $72,000 Jaguar XF, and the conclusion was that it didn't really feel like a $70,000 car. This actually does. When I get in this and touch things and sit in it and operate stuff, it feels upscale. It feels premium. It feels not just like, you know, a Ford. I think Ford is doing well. I think their cars are getting better and better. But this does truly feel like a premium product to me. The seats, which I talked about, they're 30-way adjustable, but they're really, really comfy. And they're not quite as good as like S-Class Coupe, which I said was the best seats ever put into a car. But the S-Class Coupe is triple the price of this car, so I can forgive that. They're right up there though, with the Range Rover seats and with your higher end German stuff for sure. I'm gonna go out of manual mode and just into sport. Let the gearbox do its own work here. What else can I talk about? The stereo's great. It's basically it's Ford Sync. It's a slightly modified version of it, but it does have quite the bump-in premium audio. I have no problem with Sync, modern Syncs. Well, they're all modern. I have no problem with the newest generation of Sync, whether it's in my RS or press cars. It's easy to get my Bluetooth phone set up. It's easy to navigate your way through menus and stuff. The voice recognition works pretty good. I will say that there are a few touch points in the car. I did say that it is a premium experience, and I do stand behind that. But there's a couple little touch points, like up here, the sunglasses holder, and a couple things that are like out of your primary reach, but you may have to touch once in a while, that fall a little bit behind. But I'm nitpicking. I think to get a lot significantly better in that department, you'd really have to bump up the price. Full LCD gauge cluster, moderately configurable, but clean design, easy to read, not too busy. I like it. The wood and the metal in this car, the aluminum trim, that's all real. And I would say that the burl wood looks beautiful. I'm glad this is not a piano black. You've also got stuff like full 360 cameras, auto parking. The radar cruise control, which I've used a bunch so far, is very good, but not the best. Mercedes has a dynamic distance radar cruise control that is the best system so far. This one, it really creates a hard line with that car in front of you, so it'll kind of keep at it right until it gets to that line and brake harder. Some of the other systems are a little more progressive, but it's not bad. It's totally usable and helpful in traffic. And this car, you know, for a car that's so big, it kind of dances around fairly light on its feet. It doesn't, you know, I'm not pushing it. I'm not going to a track day with it. It's not a race car. It's not even a sports car. But if you find yourself having to go through a road like this to go skiing or to go up to do activities in the mountains, whatever, you can actually hustle this thing down the road and it won't feel totally out of place. It's pretty impressive. We're going it's quite a steep downhill, so I've been using a lot of brakes, but they are not they're not fading so far, which is pretty impressive stuff. Yes. Overall, I do have to say I'm a big fan. Maybe I came into it with a bit of a head on. Like I wanted to like this car. I can admit that. Like, it's not, I'm not a perfect human. I'm not a robot that is Consumer Reports. I wanted to like it before I drove in the car. And I do like it. Would I necessarily go out and buy one? No. Do I think it's the Chrysler 300 that they need? No, actually I don't. I think Lincoln needs a Chrysler 300 badly, and I don't think this is it. But I do think it is a lovely car. I think it's a great place to spend your time. I'm going on a road trip this weekend, hiking with Palm Springs. I think that's going to be beautiful. And I think the execution of it is, in 96 ways out of 100, very good. So congratulations, Lincoln. I think you've built a really nice car here. And there will be prejudiced people out there, or people who just look at it and go, that can't be good. But I think that people who drive this car or go for a ride in it will be shocked at how nice a place it is to spend your time. And if you haven't been in any of the newest batch of luxury cars and you got in this first, you ignore the little the little cross here, and this could easily be a Jaguar or a Mercedes in terms of what you see and what you feel. So good job, Lincoln. I like it. Check out my wheel well. You want to see what's going on in my garage. But that's that for today. This is the Lincoln Continental, and thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later.